Hi, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with Genesis Kingdom Part 1. Today's topic, I picked whales. I had it in my inbox. I didn't have actually even a Bible verse picked, but usually when I'm reading and meditating on the Bible, I send me Bible verses, or if I happen to look something up, I send it in. So I was, scrolling through, because sometimes I sit there and I copy paste if I do a little bit further research. And then I post the Bible verses to back them up. Of course, Bible verses with everything. And I ran across whale, and I remember asking that because the Bible is a lot of metaphor, Shakespeare, parables, riddles. I don't know Shakespeare's, but I guess I'm learning, And so as I was scrolling through, I found whales. And I know I had Googled it before, and I always I always do whales, Bible meaning. And then I researched some to put it together to try to explain a little bit what the whale meant. So with that being said, it brought me to Genesis 1:21. And I'll post the Bible verses as well. So it brought me to Genesis 1, Bible verse 21. It says, "And God created the great whales, every living creature that moveth, which is the waters that brought forth abundantly after the kind, and every wing fowl after the kind that God saw that it was good." And real quick, I'm going to put it in there because this goes great with it. As I am reading 22 right now, so I'm reading this to you, it said, "And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful, multiply, fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply the earth." The evening more, it says, "In the evening, the morning, there were the fifth day," right? So you know how, God created everything, right? So I was trying to understand the metaphor of whales, we referred as well as to Pharaoh, the Levantines, but at the end of the day, all three of them bring you to the revelation of 3 days and 3 nights. And everybody knows Jonah's story. He was running from his calling, and spewed him out. They threw him out into the sea. And as I was reading a little bit deeper about Jonah, it tells you that the man didn't really want to, throw him out there like he's a man of God. But what is going on? Why we're having all this trouble since you came aboard on the boat? Remember Noah's Ark? They're on the boat. And he said, "Why are you bringing all this trouble on us?" So they even prayed to God, and they said, "Hey, we're about to throw him out." But he said he's causing too much chaos. And these men were on the way into dry land. And there's Bible verses to back it up. Dry land means that we're no longer in the sinful world. We're no longer sinning. So we're no longer in the belly of the whale, and that's also backed up. The belly of the whale is 3 days and 3 nights. And I'm going to keep going on. So that was Genesis 1:21, and I just threw in 22 for you just to go with it. So it brought me to Leviticus 18. Let me find it real quick. Leviticus 18:21 through 30. It says, "Do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Moloch." And you got to remember, we're on our way into the promised land. So we were among the Egyptians, some that have been long dead, where is Egypt? It was hell. All of it is like people that have been long dead. We were among them. Why? Because we were brought out of Egypt into the land. So we were passing through. We're strangers. That's why God said, "Do not mix yourself with any woman from there. Do not mix yourself from any man from there. Do not marry your sons to anybody on there. Do not marry your daughters with anybody in there." And we all know that it didn't go that way, and that's why we were in captivity. And that is all in Judges, why we stood long and long and long and long, as well why Jonah was running from his calling. And he drowned because he was going back to the things of the world, so people threw him out. Yet, when he was in the belly of the well, which was hell, he started praying, and then God brought him back, And then he went ahead and went to his calling and went and preached in Nineveh. But remember, he was pissed. He's all like, I didn't want to do this. You had compassion on them. They were sinning, But he was also running from his calling. So I always say, don't be a Jonah, be a Mary. Always continue no matter how things. And even don't be a Jonah, be a Job. It's just so beautiful. Here, let me go ahead and read to you. Leviticus 18:21-30. It says, do not give any of your children to sacrifice to Moloch, for you must not profane the name of the Lord, the God that I am the Lord. This is on the way into a promised land, into dry land. It says, do not have sexual relations with any man or anyone that does with a woman that is detestable. Do not have any sexual relations with any animal. Defile yourself with it. A woman must not present herself to an animal and have sexual relations with it, that it is a perversion. Do not defile yourself in any of the ways, because this is how the nations that I am going to drive out before you become defiled. Even the land that I was defiled, so I must punish it. For it is sin in the land that vomit out its inhabitants. But it must be kept my decrees, my laws. The native born and the foreigners must reside among you, must not do any of these detestable things, for all the things that were done by the people who lived in the land before you, the land that became defiled. And if you defile the land, I will what? I will vomit you out, as it is vomited out the nations that were before you. Everyone who does any of these detestable things, such person must be cut off from their people, that may require and do not follow any detestables, customs that were practiced before you, came and did not defile yourself with them, that I am the Lord your God. Do you get it? In the belly, you get spit out. He said, and when we go back to the sinful natures that I just read to you, it brings you back to hell. You're in the belly of the whale. You are in hell for 3 days and 3 nights. But if you get comfortable there, well, then guess what? Your stay is going to be longer. How long was it? It tells you in Judges. You guys will go and prostitute yourself out. So you will be there 7 years. We'll get into the other one on the way to the promised land. Again, you will go whoring around, the man and the woman. Guess what? We were there another 7 years, and we were wondering why. Why one haven't made it to the promised land? And he's telling you why. All the way. And you get stuck in the beast system with the beast around. And then, you know what is the sad thing is that you get some women that get here on YouTube, and I'm going to say it, that say that and I'm going to read it because it's also in here, that the earth would also, which is, hell, you will also spew you out. If you're not sinning, they don't need you there. What do they want you there for? You're not sitting there. You're not mingling with the people. You're not sinning. Why do they want you? That's when they call you misfit. That's when they call you different. As a matter of fact, they even call you bougie. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be called that, because you know what that means? I wasn't born to fit into that world. I was born to come into the land of the living. And that's what my Father has been trying to do, not only with us, but with you in this world. And he tells you how to free yourself. And then the woman have the nerve to say, oh, you misfits, you rejects over there. If they're not calling you that, then you should be asking yourself, why aren't you being called that? Because you were meant to fit into that world. You were meant to stand out. So if they're calling you different, it's because guess what? We are different. We're not born to be fit into that world. It's not our world. It never was, not even to this world. But because the sin seemed so good, sin was like normal. Everybody was panicked, like, hey, how many wives you have, how many husbands you have. Hey, let's go out there and sell ourselves. Let's do this. Really? Really? And to have the audacity to say, oh my God, they're calling misfit. Oh, they called him. They call him that. No, take that as an honor. The ungodly world is calling you that. Then guess what, honey? I am a misfit because I wasn't born to fit into your crowd. I was born to stand out. Because I am a child of the Most High God that was a sinful woman and sat there and got saved. So to know that I stood out in the midst and didn't fit in with you, I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't supposed to, and neither were you. And neither was this world that deserves so much better. So now it brings me to Leviticus 20. Sorry, I just have to move it around a little bit. 20. So it brings me to Leviticus 20, 22 to 24. Again, how to keep out of the belly of the whale. It says, keep all my decrees and laws to follow them, so that the land where I am bringing you to live may not vomit you out. The land that I'm bringing you, you're supposed to fit in that. But if you're still running and doing the things of the world, guess what? That land of the living is going to spew you out because you don't fit in that. So if that land of the living, where it spews you out, then you need to be asking yourself, that means you're fitting in with hell. And that means you got to sit there. You're in the belly of the whale. So listen, write it down. Listen, Linda, is breaking it all down here in a thing. So with that being said, if somebody's not calling you different, not calling you a misfit, you better ask yourself, what am I doing? Because I don't want to fit into this world. I want to go into the land flowing with milk and honey. And on our journey there, as we don't sin and continue to journey and not staying in captivity, then guess what? That means you're being different, and that's okay to be different. That's staying away from sin, no idols, no nothing. I mean, you see the revival that those college kids are doing. Sometimes we sit there and we think like, well, this woman of God or this man of God is getting all this revelation. It has to be experienced. No, honey. I knew my creator, that nobody could ever take that from me. I knew that he was right. I know there is no other God besides our Father Jehovah. And I know there's Mother God as well. But I have never picked up the Bible. But since I knew my calling was a price of the high calling, when he said, Mary, pick up the Bible, pick up the cross and walk, I knew it was going to be a journey. That was hard. I went through hell before I walked through hell. So I had to know the Bible to know what my calling was. And it took years and years of me going back and forth, reading it twice. And then I started going in deep and be like, I read that Bible verse and I'll be like, hey, what does that mean? And you go in there and you study and voila. And perfect even more. It's also in the Bible, but I don't have it ready and I don't know which Bible verse it is. God says, for those ones that have the ears to hear, the eyes to see, the understanding, the wisdom, and the knowledge, is because you're no longer functioning of the things of the world. You're actually healing. You're actually getting restored back the light in you. You're going from dry bones to let these bones live. You know what I'm saying? I'm going from awakest so that sleepest and arise from the dead. And what? Christ should give you the light. So that's something that you also need to ask. What? It took a lot of studying to now still come to that. So don't get discouraged because you see a beautiful brother or a beautiful sister, get that revelation. Start saying, well, what is it that she's doing different? Learn, ask. I ask questions. I don't know everything. I'll see somebody in Bible study. I see people out there while I was praying, and I'll ask questions. It's being humble. Being humble, not thinking that you're better than anybody, but humbling yourself and saying, hey, I'm willing to learn. What is it? You know what I'm saying? It's worth it. It's so worth it. You get the beautiful revelation, and on top of that, it guides you. It makes sure that you don't slip. And that's also in Bible verse. And I think this Bible verse is also very beautiful. So I apologize. I should have had it ready. Jesus. give me a quick minute. I promise I'm trying to make it quick. It says, and this is actually Joshua 1:8. And let this sink in. It says, this book of the law should not depart out of thy mouth, but thou should meditate there day and night, that thou mayest observe and do according to all that is written on there. That way thou shalt make the way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success in the journey into the promised land. You know, it tells you all right there and how to do it, brothers and sisters, and it's worth it. You know, in the beginning of the journey, you know, I had people say, man, that's boring. You know, some people, not a lot, were saying the Bible's boring. It's boring because you're not dedicating yourself. You're not willing to learn. You're not willing to make your own crooked place straight. You know, you have to, so you don't fall. And I remember I told you guys about that book that called Jesus is Calling. I promise you, at the beginning of my journey, I was like, Father, I don't know. I don't know if this is the man that I'm supposed to be dating, and we're already broken up. And I promised you I would pray and I would open that. And then the Bible verse that spoke to me, and this is real life testimony. He said, if you're looking to put your trust in a prince or in a man, then you don't need to be a servant of mine. And at that time, I didn't understand it, but it was because our birthrights were stolen. And I backed it up with Bible verses. Micah 4, and Israel was a woman, was a daughter, and that is in Amos 5. And then the kingship being returned to the daughter. So when you see in the Bible that they also talk about king, there was actually a king woman, daughters as well. And I have read that to you. So with that being said, that will make your way prosperous. And that's why it says that, you know, to purify yourself. And it's also asking the sons to do so. And it's also asking this world to do that, to bring you back in our covenant with our Father Jehovah. You know, it's all written in there. It says, so now I'm going to go back again to 20, 22, 24. I didn't finish it, right? It says, keep all my decrees and laws and follow them, so that the land where I am bringing you to live may not vomit you out. If that land of the living, flowing with milk and honey, vomits you out, whoa, you better be asking questions, because I want to fit into that world. I don't want to fit into the other, because I wasn't meant there. I've always said it to everybody, it's my drive-by into my promised land. And how many people are coming into my Noah's Ark. And God also gave me a beautiful revelation that I just read to you. When the people were in the boat with Jonah, what did it say? Hey, you know, why is it bringing all this wrath upon this boat? And it was because Jonah was still sinning. So what did they do? They threw him out. They were like, hey, no. And then Noah's Ark, you can't, no sin. So they said, hey, Father, forgive us that we're throwing this sin, but we're trying to get saved. So they prayed and they threw him out. Jonah said, throw me out. You know, it's me. You know, God is coming after me. But God was sitting there also trying to save him. He keeps trying to do that to all his children. And you got men in the boat that are saying, we're going to throw this man of God out of the boat. You know, that should tell you something. This is some men that see their value in their lives, in their families, in their children, in your marriage. And you got to sit there and protect that boat. Protect that boat. Are you protecting your Noah's Ark boat? And it tells you over and over again how it is to stay. If somebody's in there, spew them out. Be like, God, hey, you know, I pray for this brother and sisters, but hey, you know, I'm trying to make it there, but I'm praying for him too. And as a matter of fact, I'll still pray for him on that side. And I did. You know, I still prayed. You know, we don't ever stop praying for anyone. It says, so you may not, it says, so you must leave. Okay. It says, keep all my decrees and my laws and follow them, so that the land where I am bringing you to may not, it says, to live, may not vomit you out. That you must not live according to the customs of the nation that I am going to drive out before you. It says, because they did all these things, I adore them. But I said to you, you will possess their land. I will give it to you as an inheritance, a land flowing with milk and honey, that I am the Lord your God who sent you apart from nations. And this way and journey, you're supposed to be taking territory, removing the darkness. He does it for you, and we take it. And God blesses the land where we're at. It's to heal that land, to save it. But don't you want your nation to be healed? It tells you over and over again how to do it. Everywhere he puts me, I come out and I pray and I sing like a canary because they try to shut me up. But I am not going to sit there, have the blood in where he puts me, have their blood in my hands and not come out and do his work. Jonah was running from his calling. I'm running to my calling. I'm going full throttle. I told him, I said to the cross, to the mighty, mighty cross, because why? Because I do care. I do care. I do care, and I love what I have a passion what he chose me to do. So I will do everything and exceedingly and abundantly that he gave me to do. I'm already clothed in my royalty clothes because I'm serving. Just because I'm a queen and my kinship has been restored to me, my birthrights. Does that mean I'm not going to serve? Absolutely. What do you think I got chosen for? Just for to be a king, wear a crown, and not worry about anything? I got chosen to serve this world, and he removes the darkness from this world. That is what you get served for, not just to be pretty, not to sit there and be wearing all this fancy clothes, because guess what? I'm already wearing my armor of God on. I'm already clothed in golden. I'm golden, baby, because God is with me. And I sit there and I serve, continue coming out and loving what it is that he had chosen me to do. It's having a passion for what you do. It's just like with teachers. If they don't have a passion for what they do, then you're not going to teach right. You're not going to want to learn right. You're too busy. The other things, well, this is just a paycheck. If you see it just as a lottery come up, if he chose you to do that, then you're in it. Your heart is not right. Your heart isn't where the treasure is. And what is it? He called us to serve this world. It's come to what? To preach deliverance and liberty to this people, to this whole world, this whole nation, that know that your hands are clean. And that is also in the Bible. Because if you don't do it, then their hands, it's in your blood. Because you have an opportunity to tell your brother to get saved and you didn't do it. And guess what? That's going to come on you. So never think you're too pretty, too good, or not good enough, or too good looking of a man, or not good enough that you can't serve them. That's what you got chosen. That's what a queen and a king does. A righteous woman and a righteous man of God. Now it brought me to Matthew 12:39. So, let's be patient that I had it ready. Matthew, this is so beautiful too. 12:39. It's Matthew 12, Bible verse 39. He said, but he answered and he said to them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after signs, and there will be no signs given to them, the signs of the prophet of Jonah. For as Jonah as 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be for 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. In the heart of the earth, that means he's sending him in there and saving people, bringing people back to our Creator. Now it brought me to Isaiah. And I'll close it up with Isaiah. And when I looked up also that, you read it. I just read that to you so you'll know. Matthew 12:39 and 40. It says, an adulterous generation seeketh after sign, but there shall be no more signs given to them, the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonah 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the night of the, it says in the nights and in the earth. It says in the heart of the earth. So when I looked up the heart and of the earth, it's the lowest part of the earth. That's what it means. The seas, Babylon, what it was called. Really, if you think about it, it was Sodom and Gomorrah in the United States, all over the world. It says in the heart, it seems is to refer to the lowest part of the earth, just as the heart is within the human body. It's where are you? Where are you with that? It's changing and renewing of your mind and what the Bible really says, opposed to what the beast system was saying. Saving you, saving your family, loving the Lord with all your heart, all your soul, just like I do and just like you do. We're just far from him, and this is just a reconciliation relationship back with him. So to close it up, my beautiful brothers and sisters, it brought me to Isaiah 21:1. In the day of the Lord will punish within his sword, his fierce and great and powerful sword. Leviathans, the gliding, the serpent, the Leviathans are coiling serpents, that he shall slay the monster of the sea. I, the Lord, watch over it, of water, and it continually, it says, I continually watch over it, the water, and continually guard it. It says that I guard it day and night, so that no one may harm it. You know, with that being said, I'm going to tell you, like my father would have me out there, you know, praying over everybody. Prayer is very important. Don't let somebody tell you no. If you go to work in the morning, pray before you get up early in the middle of the day. If you get a lunch, another break in the afternoon, in the evening, pray over your family. Teach them Bible verses. For those of you that are having any spiritual attacks, Psalms 91 is very beautiful. And then to close it up, that Job asked God this, and maybe that's something that we should ask God. He said, job7 said, am I a sea or a well that those sittest a watch over me? He said, what did I do? He hadn't done nothing. But you know the story of Job, how Satan went up to God, I'm coming through and from. He said, hey, what about your servant? My father said, well, hey, he said, what about your servant Job? And he says, oh, he's a man that shuns evil, you know. So he said, well, of course. He goes, he has a hedge around him. He has everything doing good. He said, well, then let's test him, right? Satan said, well, can I test him? God said, go ahead and do it. And that's why he was pleading to God, saying, I sinned when I was young. I haven't. I've been serving you. I've been doing everything right. What did I do? He's saying, am I a sea monster? Am I out there? Like, what did I do? You know, this is what it tells you. You know, if an ungodly nation is spewing you out of their nation, be glad to be called a misfit. Be glad to be called different. Or say, here comes trouble. Trouble to the ungodly world, it's a good thing. That is victory, brothers and sisters, because that's a power that we walk in with our brothers and sisters when you shun evil. Because there is a Satan, there is devils, there is witches, there is warlocks. But there's a power of the Most High God that overpowers all that. And you sit there and you shun evil, shun sin, idols. And he has given me victory in all this journey over and over and over again. And I'm still out here preaching and preaching the truth no matter what. No matter what, if I'm liked or not liked. And I don't take it personal, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of this world did not know God. You know, they didn't. And if they knew him, we were far from him. And we were. And this is just him bringing a reconciliation back. A reconciliation back with him. You know, uniting it back. You know, and removing the darkness. And it tells you, removing, you know, I'm removing, clearing the path. That's parting the sea. That's parting the sea, the good, the bad. What do you want to do? Because that is coming to an end. But there's a happy ending. It's the ending of the darkness, but the beginning of the new heaven, new earth. Give hell. I think it's in Visions 3 or 4, when he said, let the devil that steal no more. Let him labor. You give him hell. You go full throttle. You save your family. You get your family in that Noah's Ark. Read Jonah and how it said that. But I just want to say, have an amazing Sabbath day. I just had to get the notes ready for you and preach it, and I'm glad I did, because then it brought all the revelation, able to speak it to you. But you have an amazing night. Shalom, shalom. Amen and amen.